Live on Monday, and your host is Asel. And today I want to talk to you about the topic that I keep hearing a lot from humanitarians about. I really want to do this, but I'm so scared. So if you are someone who is entertaining this idea of I want to transition to becoming my own boss, or I want to transition to working at home in my country, I want to transition to starting my business, or I want to transition to working in a private sector, or I want to transition to opening my own NGO, right? Whatever it is that you want to transition to, but you are scared, here is what I would like to offer to you that maybe will make the difference. And the difference is we often keep following the fear. We often keep following this scared feeling. And the behind scared feeling is we have a lot of reasons, right? So maybe the scared reasons would be that it will not work financially. The scared reason would be people will judge me. The scared reason would be it's not good enough. I'm not good enough. Who am I to do this, right? So all of these scared reasons will uh, are there that you know already, right? So those scared reasons are there that you know, and take those scared reasons and compare to the life you create, the transitioning you make, where you get to do the thing that you really love, you really want to. You get to do this in the way you want to. You get to be with your family while you're doing it. You get to confront your fears, but also learn how to overcome them. You get to trust yourself so much more so that you can make the things work that you want to. So that will get you to the next level of growth. But most importantly, I think that you need to think about you get to serve the people that you want to, right? You get to serve the people in the different ways maybe you want to. And then take both of them and see how they're comparable or not. Because when we continue following our fear, oftentimes we tend to think a lot about ourselves, of how other people see us, how other people perceive us, or how we may not be able to overcome something and we will be ashamed, right? So all of this might be around us or around our loved ones, right? So around our loved ones and the things about the topics that we are afraid of about ourselves, we can do something and we can work on the fear. But I think in that conversation, when we're having like a lot of entertaining a lot of our fears around how this may not go, how this may not go, or feeling scared, when we keep following our fear, what we may not be following is actually how the life we are missing out on, what kind of life we're not really pursuing, what kind of impact we're not really pursuing, or what kind of people's life we could possibly change in different ways that we're not really thinking about, or um, like believing so much in that our fears become so much more powerful than our alternative that we're trying to create, right? So that's why our job is as transitioning humanitarians who are trying to go and create the life that we want. Our job is then um, like create um, believe so much more, feeling more committed in the future that we're creating, that overpowers our fear, so that we can say to ourselves, this is worth doing it no matter what. Right? So, for instance, if let's say if it was an emergency in our family, if it was an emergency with something that we can't really delay, then we would always find a ways to not even entertain our fears. We would just go and make things work instead of just prolonging this decision or keep entertaining this fear, right? So therefore, we know that we're capable of doing it. We know we're capable of not prolonging decision. We are capable of overcoming fears. We're capable of thinking about the goals that we want to achieve, but most importantly, the impact that we want to make in other people's lives. We know that because That's also the reason why we entered the humanitarian world in the first place, because we really wanted to make the change in other people's lives, right? And then as we went in our careers, maybe in some ways we did do this, in other ways we got skeptical about it. And then now we're really questioning whether we want to continue doing it this way. And we're exploring what other ways we could be doing it and how other ways we can do this. Therefore, in those moments, if we have desires of, oh, I would like to make the impact this way, I would like to make the impact. For instance, I have clients who tell me that they want to make the impact back home with the migrant population, or with the refugees, or with the people with disabilities, or with the people, like educating the population, local population, about these topics, about human rights. So those might be the movements they want to start, right? I have other clients who want to work with the government and their own government and do the humanitarian work in a different way, right? I have also clients who want to do this in the private sector, where they really feel like they could bring the private sector closer to the humanitarian work. So there might be lots of different ways that we can make the impact, but I think that the missing piece when we are entertaining, or when we keep thinking about fears of, oh, what if this, what if that kind of like conversation that we keep having, what we're not essentially doing is we may not be thinking about, would it be worth doing it, and why would it be worth doing it, whatever the on the other side that we're trying to create, why it would be worth doing it, and most importantly, why it's worth not delaying it. And I think that's the part that I keep also coaching a lot of clients on, is that my clients keep telling me that, yes, I would love to do that. I would love to do this. I would love to do this way and that way. And they have these ideas of how they would like to do it, but then they just keep prolonging the decision period. And the decision period is actually the part that keeps reinforcing the fear, right? The more we don't make a decision, the more we keep entertaining the fear, and therefore we don't really implement on the ideas that we have come up with. We haven't used the momentum that we have, and we just keep feeling like, well, what others are going to think, or what am I going to think, and all of this thoughts will just not allow us to go and create what we want to. So therefore, if you feel someone like you are thinking a lot about your own fears of, what if this, what if that, what if this, and then also your family, then, like, as much as you may think about those fears, think about also why it would be worth doing this that you're wanting to do. What are the reasons why it makes sense, or it's so worth going for it no matter what, and keep figuring out how to do that. And that way, that will overpower your fears around how and why it will not work, right? So this is the my experience that I have had when I was making a decision as a humanitarian and leaving the humanitarian sector. I I think I talked about this many times, but in this context, what I really think might be useful for you to think about is, when I was making the decision, I was thinking why it would be worse for me to go and create this life that's outside of humanitarian sector, where I work with humanitarians and I help people really live their lives and make their impacts and make the sustainable change. And I really felt like that would be worse for me to doing everything possible to get there, right? And the reason why I didn't really want to, like, keep entertaining, as long as I can just do the next best thing, or as long as I can just be with my family, then everything will be okay, or as long as I can just get my I don't know, $2,000-3,000 per month, then I will be okay. The reason why I didn't do that, that would be also not really fulfilling in the long runs, right? So therefore, as I was leaving the humanitarian sector, I knew what were my reasons for leaving it, right? So one of the biggest reason why I left is because I really felt like I wasn't making the impact the way I wanted to. So therefore I thought it didn't really make sense for me then to leave to another thing that would be like less, just because I'm so tired of feeling like, oh, I haven't been really making the impact that I want to. So I guess it doesn't really or I guess it's not possible. And then just going into my own skeptical brain and listening to my skeptical brain and say, well, then I'm just quitting. And then if I can just get the next thing and the next job, and then I'll be fine. I know that for maybe temporary reason, it would be fine. But then as soon as I'm in that temporary job, then I would again have like a lot of my thoughts of why did I come here? Well, what was I thinking? Why then just didn't I stay there? If I was just, it was just about the money, then what I could have continued earning money there, right? So you can see that the conversation that I would have had if I just traded my disappointment or my disbelief type of situation to another disappointing situation, it would just be worse, right? So therefore, I'm really like wanting you to think about what would be worth for you to leave your humanitarian sector for, and that's not a fear, or that's not a disappointment, or that's not um, like delaying things, because I think a lot of the times we just I think can't really find that what would be worth leaving it for reason, and therefore we just continue entertaining a lot of our thoughts around, well, how it won't work and why it won't work and how we'll be afraid and all of these things, and we're not really thinking, I think, is in those moments when we are entertaining our fears, our doubts, our worries, what we're not really thinking is that this is our life, right? This is our one time given life. If you are the person who's like thinking in this terms of this is our one time life, and I want to live my life this way with my loved ones. I want to do the impact this way. I want to get paid well for it so that I can afford to live my life the way I want to. And I want to live my life proactively loving it and doing things the way I want to, instead of just keep staying in this in between of do I want to do I not want to, keep entertaining my own doubts, keep entertaining my own fears, and keep just growing them, and then not really at the same time not really being where I want to. And most importantly, I'm not really then getting the fulfillment because I'm full without my doubts and fears. Then I don't really have even space emotionally for receiving fulfillment because I'm not really present doing the job in the most best way I could. I may be doing it out of fear of not losing my job. But is that really how we want to um, continue building our career, out of fear, out of because we are afraid of the alternative and we're afraid of ourselves, we're afraid of not being able to make this happen? And I really feel like when we are in that space, then we're not really asking this question of why it would be worth transitioning to this life that I want to, right? How are the ways it would be worth it? And what are the ways I'm actually going to make this work? Because it's not only about me and my own fears, but it's about my loved ones and my presence with them. And it's about the impact that I want to create with these people so that I feel fulfilled by doing this impact with them. They feel fulfilled by um, co creating this impact with me. And that's the life I want to live. Right. So when I look at my own experience of how I have gone through a lot of difficulties transitioning and working through a lot of my identity and many other issues of how others judge me and how others think of me and all of these fears, I have worked through a lot of these, right? And as I have worked through a lot of these, and then I create this impact with my amazing humanitarians, with my clients, And when they see the results for themselves, and when we celebrate their results, then it just feels like I am multiplying my success with so many different humans because they really wanted to do this job with me. And therefore, seeing this ripple effect of this on their lives, the ripple effect on their loved ones' lives, when I see these impacts that we are creating with my amazing clients, then I can see that all of this fear, all of this identity, all of this status, whatever the issues that I have worked through, they were all worth it. Because the reason why it was worth it is because I am living this life now where I get to do what I love doing. I am very honest and humbled and true to what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. At the same time, I am like with my loved ones, and I have my financial stability that I can do what I want to. And that's the life I really wish for you, is that as long as you ask the questions of why this would be worth it, how it would be worth it, how it would be worth it for you, for your loved ones, and how you are the amazing person, the humanitarian who has so much problem solving, so much so many other skills that you have that you can make things work in the way you want to. If you lessen the focus on fearing and on yourself of how you may not be good at this, you may not be good enough or whatever it is, but rather how this would be worth solving for it and how you will do that and how you will create this life after transitioning and how that could look like and why it would be worth it, then I think that those um, like arguments for yourself will be so solid that then fear will not be as influential for you to keep being entertained by it. So, my dears, if you would like to work on this and get your fear under control, your doubts and everything, so that you can pursue the life of your dreams that you want to do, then absolutely come coach with me. I would love to get you to that place where you really feel like, yes, it was worth it. All of the work that I have done, it was worth it because now I can do whatever I want, living the life I want to, and with the people I love living. That's the life I wish for you. Have an amazing week, and I'll speak to you very soon.